The Eagles almost traded for another quarterback. Wait, what? We'll talk about that. Also, Vic Fangio gives an update on Cooper DeJean and whether he would like him to stay as the nickel corner next season. And most importantly, the Dallas Goedert rumors are swirling. But I'm going to explain why this would be a horrible move if the Eagles decide to move forward. We'll talk about it all. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video. Go down below and subscribe to our channel. We keep you up to date every single day. And we're going to start off with something that has been the topic every single day. And that is the tush push, right? The vote was tabled. They're pushing it back a month and a half. We know all but likely it will be gone this upcoming season. And thanks to Adam Schefter, we finally get clarity. And it is confirmed that teams are just jealous of the Eagles' success. Quote, I believe there are people in the league that are jealous of the Eagles' success. I believe there are people that can't duplicate the Eagles' success. I believe the commissioner and others do not like the play, and I believe the play is going to go away. So enough with all the injury, drama, and all these other excuses. Just tell us, right? The Eagles have the personnel. They're much better at it than you are, and you can't stop them, right? They're Super Bowl champions. You think that that play will contribute to probably more success in the future. And let's be honest, they don't want to see the Eagles go back and repeat. They did not want to see them win this year. But guess what? That play, another QB sneak, doesn't matter. Eagles are going to come back and find a way to still be effective on 4th and short. So that is what we have in terms of the tush push. And in terms of the other side of the ball, Vic Fangio gives an update on Cooper DeJean. He says, I really like him as the nickel. I'd like to see him stay at nickel. He plays it very well. He has good size in there. I think he enjoys playing in that position. And I've made my thoughts very clear on this for weeks now. Cooper DeJean has to stay at nickel corner, at least for the time being. Maybe sometime down the road, you start to explore different options. And I know that eventually that could affect contract negotiations as well, based on where he's lined up. But with the type of success that he had, if you think about the Eagles bye week last year and what a blessing it was, one of the most integral parts, other than, establishing that run game and getting things going on the offensive side of the ball, was bringing back Cooper DeJean, inserting him in for Avonte Maddox, and having a rookie like that just inject his youth, his athleticism, and really just lock down skills, trash talk, all of it. He was the perfect package last season. Him and Quinyon were absolutely dominant. It is not normal to have rookies like that dominating on a Super Bowl caliber team, but you saw what he did, and I just think he's so comfortable right now at the nickel corner. I don't want to mess up that mojo. I don't want to, move him outside and then things happen. Just keep him there for now. Let him build on the success that he had, and I'm glad Vic Fangio thinks the same way as well. Staying on the defensive side of the ball today, the Eagles are having an edge from UCLA visit. His name is, and I hope I don't pronounce it wrong, but Olafemi Oladejo. He is visiting the Eagles. He's projected to be a day 2 pick. Maybe the Eagles will go out and draft this guy. He has impressed teams both on and off the field throughout the process, and he embraced a move from linebacker to edge in 2024. His stock is skyrocketing, and, based on a few things I've seen, just feels like a very Eagles-like come in, develop, and maybe you end up playing in the late season and the Super Bowl if the Eagles make it back, right? Just feels like a guy you bring in, you let him get up to speed. They'll probably say, yeah, he's going to, redshirt this year, won't play that many snaps, and then maybe a guy goes down, this guy comes in. Could he be a future draft pick for the Eagles? I definitely think it is a possibility. Now, I want to talk about a player that should be staying on the Philadelphia Eagles. And I've had a lot of discussions and debates in the comments. You know what? Right now, I want somebody to go down below and tell me why Dallas Goedert should not be back on this team. Because everybody's like, yeah, well, the contract situation and his age and his durability. Look, I get all of the concerns. And to bring up what Nick Sirianni said here the other day about Dallas Goedert, right now he's on our football team. Obviously, Dallas has meant a lot to us. We'll see how it plays out. Feels like he's all but gone, right? Same thing with what Howie Roseman said. But I will continue to die on this hill that it makes absolutely no sense to trade Dallas Goedert. I understand trying to get younger, trying to maximize now like a 4 or 5 year window, and trying to cycle in more young players from the draft. I understand that Howie's making tough decisions right now when it comes to trading players, but it makes zero sense to go out and trade a player when you have no solidified backup. I understand Dallas Goedert is 30 years old, but this guy has been here for 7 seasons, and although he's never been able to put it all together, he's been a very productive player when he is on the field. He's also been a big-time, big-game player, right? He plays very well in the postseason, and I would rather take 600, 700, 800 yards and a couple really good postseason games from Dallas Goedert other than the alternative option right now, which is we really don't know. Are the Eagles going to, trade up and draft a tight end? Are they going to draft one in round 1, round 2? Are they going to trade for one around the league? What is the option here? Because, again, if you had a guy in the works, kind of how Dallas Goedert was already spinning for a couple years before they went and traded Zach Ertz, I'd say, yeah, no problem, right? Go with the younger guy who has shown some flashes of potential and let him rock and roll. But right now, it just doesn't make any sense at all when you look at Dallas Goedert and who else they have on the roster. Like, is Grant Calcaterra or the couple guys they signed in free agency going to make the difference? Absolutely not. Jalen Hurts is comfortable with Dallas Goedert, and right now, it just does not make any sense. Again, I understand trying to optimize the window, and you have to get rid of some of these bigger contracts, but in my opinion, Dallas Goedert is still a staple of this offense, and it's almost a bit of overcorrection. It's almost trying to plan everything out and be too perfect that you're ready to move on from a guy when you have no obvious replacement. So honestly, it does not make any sense. Similar to the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade, even that position, you have guys who are maybe ready to step in, but getting rid of Goedert just doesn't make any sense to me. Derek Gunn a couple days ago says there's no doubt Eagles want Goedert back, but they're hoping to reduce his financial number. And honestly, if I was the Philadelphia Eagles right now, all right, and we're looking at Dallas Goedert's contract, this upcoming season, he has a cap hit of $11.8 million. Even if you go ahead and cut him, right, he has a potential out with a dead cap of just about $11.1 million. I mean, you're still going to take a hit. And what I would try to do if I was Howie Roseman is work with him to extend a couple years, lower his cap hit this year, and try to spread that out a little bit. But you're going to need him to be here for another year or two. That way you can draft his replacement and develop them and see if they are ready over the next couple of years. All these people saying, yeah, well, you're not the GM. This is why you don't know what you're doing. You're right. I'm not the GM. But what I'm telling you is right in front of your face, slapping you in the face. It makes no sense to trade Dallas Goedert, just like it really didn't make a lot of sense to trade CJ Gardner-Johnson. You had just signed CJ, and you could have kept him for this year and then traded him. And I went ahead and I looked up some stats a little while ago, earlier today, and Dallas Goedert is 3rd or 4th all-time in Eagles receiving yards in terms of tight ends. He is number 13 all-time in terms of any Eagles in franchise history in receiving yards. He's had a really good career, and that's with missing a lot of games. I still believe he can play at a high level. We saw that in the playoffs again, and I believe that the Eagles need to kind of keep that offensive nucleus together, and I think Dallas Goedert is the security blanket. He's the underrated weapon, right? He goes under the radar because of AJ and Devontae and Saquon, but he's still really good. He's still a really good tight end. And if we look at some of the NFL tight ends right now ranked in terms of salary and cap hit this upcoming season, I mean, Dallas Goedert is down here at number 10, and he's better than some of these guys. So, look, I get it. I understand what Howie's trying to do, but you can't overdo it. This is an obvious choice for me. Dallas has to stay at least for another year, but give me your thoughts on that down below. If we go to an article here, this was from Tim McManus of ESPN. It feels like the writing's on the wall, and it feels like we know he's going to be traded. It's just a matter of when. He says, quote, with only so much cash to go around, they're making some tough choices this offseason on contributors with sizable salaries who have not been identified as core options moving forward. Goddard's injury history appears to be working against him in that regard. Outside of him taking a pay cut, it's hard to envision Goedert returning to Philly in 2025. And a lot of what I've heard is, they're going to get a late round draft pick. Cool. Wonderful. But I just feel like this Eagles team is ready to go back and compete for another Super Bowl right now. And I just don't want a rookie tight end in there. Maybe if they can work a trade out, fine. But you're not going to get a lot of guys, at least when healthy, that can produce more than Dallas Goedert can. Age 30 season coming up. It's going to be a very big decision for this Eagles team, probably the last one of the offseason. So what do you think is going to happen? Let me know down below. And lastly, the Eagles actually almost did make a trade, and that was for Joe Milton, who is now the Cowboys' backup quarterback. Traded today, along with a 7th-round pick for a 5th-round pick. Apparently, he grew up as a Cowboys fan, so good. Send him to Dallas, but could he eventually replace Dak Prescott? I don't know. Might be a funny storyline during the season. But Jordan Schultz says the Eagles were one of the teams that showed interest. Does it surprise me? No. Howie Roseman's always trying to trade for quarterbacks, but now that you have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you have Tanner McKee, do I think Milton would have fit? Nah. And I'm fine with him going to Dallas. I don't think he'll really do much, especially if he ends up playing against the Eagles, right? If Dak goes down again and we have a game this season where Joe Milton is going up against Philly, well, guess what? You better watch out. Give me your thoughts down below on all this news. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.